It has at least two ways of pronouncing it. One is an, and actually it appears in the chant book too. So next time you chant, pay a little closer attention, try to find it out. And another pronunciation is yasu. So this is not so much important, but we want to learn how to write it. So it's a little fun. Actually, the top part, it is kind of like a house, only this part. So it starts by this one, then you do like this. Then it's this longer line here, and then this way, and then this way. It has all the steps one by one on the worksheet. I actually found this out for you online. So you see how it starts with a little dot. Take a look at it. If you don't have a pen, take a pen from here and then pass it around. So everybody will have a pen. So here, please take one and just pass it around. And yeah, so different people saw different things in this character. Yeah. And to kind of, yeah, the meaning of it is like peace, safety, or serenity. That's why it is found in the chant book. The meaning in the chant book is about serenity, peace. Yeah, so see if you can write it. So first there are many strokes. So the first stroke is one little dot you see on top. The first one is like one little thing like this. And then the second one starts from here. Then you go this way, then you bring it down. Then it's like this, then this way, and then the horizontal. So give it a try and write a few. And we have two Japanese people at least. They can help you out. Oh, you didn't get one? You don't have to practice. Yeah, so you can ask questions because I know this must be the first time ever you're writing a Chinese character. No, not bad. Getting better. Yeah, so this one is actually first. The one horizontal is the last one. The order, yeah, so, yeah. If it got you. Oh, good job, Gary. You've taken Japanese lesson. Yeah. Long time ago. Oh, not bad. Very good. You get it? Yeah, there you go. Yeah. This one goes first. The one horizontal is the last one. Yeah. Yeah, so go like a curve. There you go. Yeah, and okay, perfect. Yeah, and then you horizontal. Okay. Yeah. Okay. How do you feel mastering one Chinese character? Yeah, you're getting the hang of it? Okay, very good. So this will have something to do with today's lesson too. Okay, yeah, so you can take the worksheet home and practice more if you like it. until you get the mastery of it. So today's topic is actually continuation. It's about the true nature of human existence. It's a parable taught in the Parable Sutra. Sutra are the teachings of Shakyamuni Buddha, taught 2,600 years ago in India. All of his teachings are recorded by his Buddha's students, disciples. And one of the sutras is called the Parable Sutras. It has a lot of stories. And this is one of the stories in that parable, one of the stories in that sutra. And yeah, so only Gerald was here and Seth last week, so some of you missed the story. And yeah. So basically what happens is, in this story, it happens millions and millions and millions of years ago. It's a story. There was this traveler who was actually walking in a vast, plain land, vast, boundless. And he was in a hurry to get home. He had worked in a city and collected a lot of valuables like treasures, and he was in haste to get home. So he was carrying some kind of a load or a backpack to get home. And the setting was an evening in autumn. And what happens is, as he's walking, he starts noticing all these little white pieces scattered everywhere. And at first, because he's in haste to get home, he kind of ignores them. But the more he walks, the more he finds all these white objects scattered everywhere. So he cannot ignore them anymore. He picks one up and he takes a look. And to his amazement, it's actually a white bone. And he gets very terrorized. Why would be so many human bones scattered everywhere? There is no cemetery here, no crematory. And as he is pondering why there are so many white bones, suddenly he hears the sound of a hungry-looking tiger ahead of him. Instantly, he realizes the meaning of all the white bones everywhere. Other travelers like him who were walking by, they were devoured by the tiger. So instantly, he lets go of his heavy backpack, even though it contained all the valuables, and he turns around and tries to run away from that hungry tiger with all his might. He doesn't care about his possessions. And then he makes a mistake in the road, and he takes the other path that actually ends at a cliff right here. And the tiger comes, and luckily he finds a little vine here, and he gets a hold of it, and he slides down, and he feels that now he's safe. He escaped the tiger. And he thinks that as long as he holds on to this vine, he will be okay. Yeah, and then he looks below to see where he is, and he is really terrorized again to see that there is this bottomless ocean at the bottom with the 3 dragons with their mouths waiting for him to fall. He shivers in fear, but humans, they get used to any horrible situation as time passes. So he forgets about it, and then he notices that he's actually hungry because he was on his way home to have dinner with his family. And nothing to eat down below, so he looks up anything to eat, and then he finds out that there are these 2 mice, actually something more dreadful than the tiger and the dragons. That there are 2 mice, one white and one black. They're taking turns and they're nibbling on his vine here. And because he was thinking that as long as I hold on to this vine, I will be okay. So his last hope is now being actually made thinner and thinner. But he starts shaking the vine to scare off the mice, but the mice don't go anywhere. It starts dripping. And then at first he thinks, oh, man, they're peeing on me now. But then he kind of collects some of the liquid, and then he takes a lick, and it's actually honey. So he's totally absorbed in the taste of honey. He forgets about the presence of the tiger, the ocean, and the dragons, and the mice. Then all he wants is to shake the vine harder and harder to get more and more honey. Story, and each of the elements has a meaning. So we've been covering these each Thursday night. And last week, Yuichi talked about the traveler. So today is about the meaning of the autumn, evening in autumn or fall season. What does that mean, actually? And actually, what Buddha through this of autumn evening, he is telling us about the loneliness of life. Yeah, but this is part 3. Oh, it's not coming. Yeah, so this is about loneliness of life. Why do we feel lonely? So first, we're going to have a little discussion. And yeah, maybe before that, I'll show you a little video so we can have that one is connected to it's on this laptop. So okay, so maybe while I get this done, so we can have like pairs of 2 people. So we have Patty, 1 pair, Teresa and Gary, Priscilla, and Yuichi, Gerard and Miriam, Rocio and I want to talk about what you think are some of loneliness in life. Do you think it's because of just lacking friends, or is it more because of spending too much time on Facebook? Or is it because of struggling with illness, or whatever comes to your mind? So just have a little bit discussion with that person.
City, big city.
What did you discuss with them?
Because obviously all the time, maybe the president is just scared, shy, not able to connect, have no interest with the person, doesn't know how to interact with them, and also just like sometimes just not fitting in with the people, whether it's age or education level or interest. Some people push themselves away and end up being lonely because they themselves are like rude or unpleasant people that people don't want to be around them. Or like cynical people. So we do more of like that, like causes of loneliness. Like what it's just sometimes like a person like they don't make those intentions to connect with someone. Or they always do this. So like they're always alone because they're always running around everywhere. And yeah, they see people, but they never really, you know.
Maybe YouTube will help me connect the laptop. It doesn't. So what did you discuss? You didn't have loneliness in Spain. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, maybe because you already worked on yourself to some extent. Yeah, it comes and goes. Yeah. But that's what Buddha says, that he believes or he thought life is long.
I'll bring the
Yeah, I had a video from YouTube just to make you guys think about loneliness.
You're better off.
Sometimes I think it can be an opportunity to grow both inside.
Não, slide deixa eu responder.
It's always like that, right? Exactly. Superficial. But people have that expectation.
No, I don't have the battery.
Maybe even when he goes to a therapist, you can't take him seriously. He can say, "Oh, you're Robin Williams." You can't get a good session. But if you have found Buddhism, everyone is very honest in Buddhism. So it doesn't matter if you're a celebrity or not. Everyone is we're all the same. We're all made up of worldly passions. We're all made of the same stuff.
The bear or one is the animal, one is the teddy bear.
Like he's having compassion in his
Yeah, it's good. It goes both ways too. Yeah. Yeah, very nice. I didn't imagine you had so many ideas.
Because he can't be wrong when he talks to the bear. It's like if you're talking to your pet, they can't say anything back, so you feel satisfied. Like, okay, I'm right. That's it.
That's why it's good to have a pet. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So this was, the parable by Shakyamuni Buddha. And he says that humanity's true plight, which Shakyamuni Buddha made clear in the story from the Parable Sutra. it dramatically shows why people need to listen to Buddhism. Unless this is understood, Buddhist truth can make no headway. That's how important the teaching of Buddhism is actually for all people. And it is very unfortunate that people who don't know Buddhism, they try to drown their sorrows or loneliness by turning to alcohol or drugs. So as Buddhists, we do all we can to help them out and to, hold their hands and share the joy that we find in Buddhism with them. So, and if you really understand today's talk, then you will experience lots of joy in your life. So I hope that you listen attentively so that you can actually share this with people around you. Yeah. And so they can also experience the same joy that you find in the teachings of Buddha. And not everybody is as courageous as you guys to, express the causes of loneliness. People just kind of keep it hidden. They don't want to talk about it. So, I think I overheard Gerard saying that here we feel kind of safe. We talk about everything.
Yeah, we were talking about Robin Williams and how he probably didn't feel comfortable talking in the open because he's Robin Williams, but at Temple, it doesn't matter. Everyone's the same. We all treat each other with respect.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, especially someone like him who was always making other people laugh so hard. He thought he would be judged so severely by others. Yeah. But there's nothing wrong to talk about it and share the feelings, and you feel the burden is off your shoulder as you talk. So the autumn, this traveler was walking alone across a vast plain. And the setting is an autumn evening when a chill wind blew. And Buddha used this autumn evening as the setting of the story in order to emphasize the essential loneliness of life. Yeah. So Buddha said that, there is this loneliness in life that we don't want to face, but it is always there. And autumn is mainly used actually in literature too to symbolize the end of something, such as a life, a time of happiness, etc. And this is because of the leaves that die and fall off of trees upon the turn of autumn. And also it can be used to symbolize sadness, loneliness, despair, etc. Because autumn is cold, rainy, and deprives the trees of the comfort of leaves, leaving them lonely in the miserable weather. I thought this was very nice. When the wind blows in autumn, so all the leaves kind of fall down, and without the leaves, the tree doesn't have that sense of comfort or coverage or companionship. So that's why Buddha used this autumn evening to show the loneliness of life. And why is life lonely? If you ask this to Sakyamuni Buddha, he explained it actually in the Sutra of Infinite Life in this way. Alone we are born, alone we die, alone we go, alone we die. Alone we go, alone we come. Alone we go, alone we come. So you see, he uses the word alone 4 times in this short sentence to emphasize the loneliness of life. Buddha taught. There are more than 7,000 sutras. This sutra is called the Sutra of Infinite Life, sometimes translated as the Sutra of Immeasurable Life. So people are born alone, and in the same way they die alone. From beginning to end, life is a lonely journey. There may be companions in the flesh, but the soul has no companion. No matter how many people surround us, we are lonely because no one understands our innermost feelings or heart. Not even parent and child, husband and wife, or even bosom friends can comprehend every bit of one another's feelings. That's why life, we go through it with a lot of feelings of solitude. And this is because each of us actually lives in a world like a bubble, which is created by our own karma. So today we have like this many people. Each of us has this bubble around us. It's invisible. If it's visible, you will keep bumping. You might burst another person's bubble. Sometimes you try. I'm trying not to burst his bubble. That's a little different. But yeah, it is created by our own karma. Karma, like our knowledge that we have accumulated throughout many years, the experiences we've had, and the talents we have. So we see things very differently based on the karma we have, all these background experiences. And we think that our bubbles have like some kind of an overlap, like this. So the more overlap we find, the happier we feel with this person or friend. But actually, in reality, there is not even the overlap. This is a little difficult to understand. Yeah, so Buddha says that it is totally solitary. We are in this journey all alone. And yeah, so if I ask you, think about the word red, what comes to your mind? So let's see what we hear from some people. How about Gisela?
Blue.
Blue? Oh, you're thinking of 4th of July already. Anger. Love. Oh, Valentine's Day. Yeah, see, very different things come to your mind. The other one, this Chinese character too, someone said a house. Actually, this part, it does represent the house, so it's very accurate. And someone said a candle. I can see the candle flame. But actually, it's a different character though. Or someone said a person. I think a person, this is how they write the character, but yeah, it has some resemblance. And so each of us sees something very differently based on our background. So I think Priscilla has been thinking about this 4th of July hike that we all would like to welcome you later. We will send out some announcement. So, when you're thinking about something, it comes to your mind. So red, blue, and what's the other one? White. Yeah, Independence Day. Yeah, so red. And actually, I asked some Japanese friend also when I asked them what comes to your mind when you think about the word red. And he told me the mailbox. In Japan, believe it or not, this is their mailbox where you drop your mail. It is red. I don't know why. In America, it's not red, right? It's blue. Yeah, so who knows, maybe we're thinking about mailboxes, not the USA flag. So you see how we have different things in the mind, and then when we talk with each other, sometimes we miss the point or we think about different things. It's not that people are trying to, hurt us, or sometimes they say something, it might sound offensive to us, but actually they're not intentionally being offensive. It just might sound that way. So if we learn about this concept of loneliness, how each of us lives in a different world, instead of being quick to judge others and then always go around being suspicious and disliking strangers or other people, we give them a second chance. We exercise what is known as compassion, understanding. The more we understand how difficult it is to have this overlap with other people, the more we make effort to understand them. People who think, oh, it's easy, life is good and everything is easy, they keep misunderstanding and then they suffer naturally because of it. Yeah, so it's very good to see the reality as it is, like the Buddha says, life is lonely. And so some people object saying that I'm not lonely, I have many friends, I have a good family. But actually, they're talking about companions of the body, not companion of the soul. So people feel so unbearably lonely that they try actually various things to fill their loneliness, such as making friends, partying, or drinking. So it seems not too much to say that all human activities are, in a sense, different methods to escape this deep loneliness. And every one of us is earnestly seeking someone that can understand our anxieties, someone who understands us fully. Yeah, I had a friend who was telling me every time she was in school, like especially when she was in junior high school, going on to high school, the first thing they would do was like exchanging contact information. Her address book was full. But then she wouldn't actually make that deep connection. It was just out of anxiety. You just want to make a long list of friends. Yeah, but like I heard some of you were saying, it's more about quality than quantity. So what about marriage? Some people say once you get married, you find your they call soulmate. I heard this only in English. I'm from Persian background. I never heard the word soulmate. Yeah, I think English is a very beautiful language. Yeah, soulmate. You have it in Spanish?
We probably do, but I don't remember it.
You don't remember?
Yeah.
Soulmate. Well, in Spanish and English, they're very close. Yeah, so they think that there is someone who can understand everything about you. And then if you meet that person, no more loneliness. Yeah, you believe there is such a person? So some people believe in this way. The stronger you believe in this way, the more you might get disappointed when you get together with that person. Only to find out that at the beginning, yeah, it might feel like you understand each other fully, the honeymoon phase, but then it doesn't last. Then you begin to see the reality, and then you might feel disappointed. Yeah, so let's watch a little YouTube video, and then we will have a break. Anyone wants to share something okay, so far about what we've learned? It's not fun. Let's see. I was gonna use examples from our own house for privacy reasons. I went to YouTube. It's safer. Yeah, I'm keeping a list of all these examples. Yeah, so this is about, actually the real couple, this is a YouTube video, but how difficult it is to really, understand everything about the other person. It's easier said than done.
He started my hanging over towel. He wanted to fit in the closet and roll it. Oh my God, could you shoot in that?
This goes on here. It takes 2 seconds.
Well, and the next person comes in, we'll do it.
It's not the point.
Throw
away my leftovers. Yeah.
Mom in?
Before people go over, it's turn it that way so you can see it.
No, it goes under, so we have to grab it.
That makes no sense.
What do you want to get for dinner?
I don't really care.
Then just take something.
You choose.
Okay.
Shut up. I don't see why I have to put the utensils face down.
Because when they're sticking up like that, and someone trips and falls, they're gonna impale themselves and die.
It's literally the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
I'm not playing this game where I list every single thing and you shoot it all down. I'm not doing this again.
Well, then I don't know what to tell you.
Oh my gosh, watch this. This is the best one.
Did you watch this without me?
You weren't home. Seriously, 6 more inches and it's in the sink. I get it.
Anything will be fine.
Fine, fine. All right, we're gonna get pizza.
Anything but pizza.
What do you want to eat?
That is Bill Paxton.
It's so cold.
Bill Paxton was the alien. That is Bill Paxton. That is him. Game over, man. That is that man right there. We're going to put him away. We're wearing him tomorrow morning.
I don't care if you're wearing them tomorrow morning. You don't want them just sitting by my side of the bed all night.
Why can't we do this? He sleeps with the bottom. The next person doesn't have to sleep that.
Excuse me. It's always hard to squeeze it from when you're airing on the tube.
Why are we talking about this?
Why are we fighting about this?
I'm already fighting about this. Sorry. I shouldn't have made to make the decision. That being said, I think the original call of pizza is fine. Just not that right. Anything other than that right.
Help me get you fun and you're gonna get married.
No, he won't. He'll probably be like, yeah, I feel you, bro.
Yeah, they have very nice video. Yeah, okay, great. So we can have a break, 10 minutes or something, and we get to know other people. You know? And we have some watermelon.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great. So we've been talking about loneliness. How about maybe we have some volunteers to share with us some of your thoughts or feelings about what we've talked so far? This one.
Well, I think that loneliness can be an opportunity to examine yourself and to really stop thinking about the brain and see everything out there. You're looking at yourself and building
Yeah. So yeah, some people just run away from loneliness, like towards drugs or alcohol to forget about it. Nothing will be solved. When the effect of the drunkenness goes away, you're back with the same problem. But if you use it as an opportunity for growth and looking into yourself, then you can actually find happiness within each of us.
Yeah, it seems like from looking at the stuff we were talking about, we're often going through life kind of expecting people to understand us completely, whether it's friend, best friend, coworkers, or our wife, or girlfriend, boyfriend. We're expecting them to see our deepest nature, our true nature. So yeah, there's like that video, the BuzzFeed video you guys were showing, there's always things that people are always fighting about because we all have our own bubbles of the own deeds we've created. So yeah, we don't see, no two people sees the same thing the same way. Everyone sees it differently. I think that can lead people blame and feel a lot of suffering. So that's why Buddhism is so great, because it's the mirror dharma, which is the truth. It reflects the true nature of our soul.
Okay, great. So yeah, so loneliness is an opportunity for us to actually look within. And this is how we can get to know our true image. So we went over these things. And so when we look deeply into ourselves, we find things that we dare not put into words. Like could be feelings of maybe dislike or despise, sometimes hatred. If we express these feelings, other people would look on us with surprise and distaste, repelled by our thoughts. When we say we can tell someone anything, we mean we can speak freely of the thoughts that can be actually put into words. If we could share all the worries we have and the suffering we have with someone else and be completely understood, how wonderful that would be. But realistically speaking, such a thing is impossible. That means there is no such a human being who can listen to all our sorrows and anxieties and issues and accept us fully for who we are. Most people just run away. Yeah, they cannot handle the depth of karma that we have. But of course, it doesn't mean there is no solution. There is just no such a person. In Buddhism, there is a Buddha who fully understands us the way we are, as we are, and accepts us for who we are. And this is how we can find true liberation from this pain of loneliness. By listening to the teachings, we will be able to have this liberation from pain. So the best cure for loneliness may not be seeking the company of others, but rather just the opposite, focusing inward and addressing the negative thoughts that underlie loneliness in the first place. That's exactly what Christella was referring to. So while we're running away from it, nothing changes. It's just a temporary relief from our issues and problems. But if we focus inward and face or address those negative thoughts, why do I feel in this way? What can I do to alleviate that pain? If we face it, even though it might be hard and it might cause us some temporary pain, it's very short term. It will lead us to a greater happiness that actually will be very rewarding. You come out of it very strong and resilient. And that's what listening to Buddhism helps us do. We face our kind of what they call demons or whatever you want to call it. We face our thoughts. Some people do it through meditation, but we are Pure Land Buddhists, so we do it through listening to the teachings like you're doing today. By listening, we learn the Dharma. Dharma is the truth that permeates all times and all places. So when Buddha was teaching it 2,600 years ago, today and 10,000 years into the future, something that doesn't change is known as the Dharma, the truth. And by listening to the teachings of Buddha, we become close to this Dharma, which is unchanging. And then we can also experience happiness that is unchanging as well. So yeah, we watched the YouTube video about how even husbands and wives who have, exchanged wedding vows that they have to be together for eternity. But actually, the more they talk about the issues, the differences they have, the more apparent it becomes that the differences in their sensibilities and values are really not things that you can bridge. So if you let it all hang out, it will only end in a quarrel. And so to preserve harmony in the home, they have to respect each other's differences and work out a compromise. But doing so takes so much energy, and then when the two of them can no longer have the strength to yield to the other person, then the marriage starts breaking down. So as you can see, it requires tremendous amount of energy to understand the other person. So we shouldn't take it for granted that, oh yeah, he understands everything about me. It's not that easy. The more you realize how much energy it requires, the more you can have respect for each other's differences, respect and tolerance for each other's differences. And so Buddhism teaches that there is the existence of a heart or mind that is like a secret repository, like a secret storehouse, which is even unknowable to the self. And we are driven by loneliness to take action. And yet nothing we do can ease our pain. So life is indeed filled with unfathomable loneliness, Buddha teaches. And salvation in Buddhism means to resolve this suffering of loneliness from its root, once and for all. So everything we do in life, actually, we are driven because we want to kind of find a relief from this loneliness. But it's a kind of a conflict because we are seeking for a person who can understand everything about us. But at the same time, when we get close to someone, we want to hold on to a lot of things that we cannot share. We don't want them to know. So there is like a conflict within ourselves. In Buddhism, there is a goal. It is taught that everybody, we are born in order to find true and lasting happiness. It's called as absolute happiness. Buddhism calls this the purpose of life, why we were born, why we are living, and why we have to keep on living no matter how painful life becomes. There is such a wonderful happiness that anyone can experience in this life. It is called absolute happiness. And the way we can actually go forward towards it and get to this goal is by listening to Buddhism. In Pure Land Buddhism, it's through listening. Yeah. And the founder of Pure Land Buddhism is actually Master Shinran. You see his picture here. He was born in Japan 800 years ago in Kyoto. And he taught about Pure Land Buddhism. So he experienced this absolute happiness when he was 29 years old. Yeah. And yeah. Yeah, so I want you to see a clip of his life. We have 6 animated movies about his life. The first animated movie is before he experienced absolute happiness when he was little, and then what actually made him enter the Buddhist monastery and seek for Buddhism. And if you have time to watch it at home, you haven't watched it, just let us know. I can send you the link later. Today, we want to focus on like a 20-minute clip on how he was actually hated by someone of other sects of Buddhism because his teachings became so popular that other sects of Buddhism, like they would lose a lot of followers. They would lose a lot of followers. And so one of the leaders of other sects became so mad that he wanted to get revenge against Shinran. So you could imagine anyone else would have felt so lonely if you're being hated by someone, you know, bullied even. And yet you will see Master Shinran's reaction is really beautiful. It's on 1 hour and 10 minutes.
お待ちしておりました。新年と。おお、日の大門なのか。今日は竹岡村へ行かれるそうです。ああ、近道をご案内いたしましょう。おお、それはありがたい。さあ、さあ、こちらへ。山口のところからお任せください。ちょっと大変ですが、ずっと早く山を下る漁師です。そうか。おい、灘を出たという知らせはとっても聞けるのか。なぜここだ。まさか竹岡駅をやめたのではないな。おい、君らね、どこにかけられておるぞ。あ、そんなバカ。おい、どういったどういうことだ。そんなわけない。よし、竹岡を帰るだ。今度こそ抜かれてだけど。信頼です。今にこの目に来て必ず。一体どうなっておるのだ。もうとっくに柿岡を信頼は出ているはずだ。遅い。おい、何をしてたんだ。もうとっくに信頼はいらないに帰っておるぞ。なんだ、どういうことだ。バカな。ありえんぞ。君は何か不思議な力を持っておるのではないか。
最初に言わせ天然の商人殺害の陰謀はことごとく完了。
信頼。まさかバイクでも来てくるのか。いや、まずそうやるはずがない。ここで死んだ。今に。
やがて天然の忍耐を絶えなかった事件が起こったのである。 fifty-1 hours,